You can be better than yesterday, one day at a time. I used to be one of those people who would start my morning with the best intentions. I'd wake up, grab my coffee, and stare at this massive to-do list that seemed to grow longer every single day. You know the feeling, right? That overwhelming sense that no matter how hard you work, you're always falling behind. But here's the thing that really bothered me. I could spend hours, and I mean literally hours, completely absorbed in a video game without even thinking about taking a break. Yet when it came to working on my actual goals, my business, my health, or learning new skills, I'd find myself checking my phone every 5 minutes, or suddenly remembering that my kitchen needed organizing. It made absolutely no sense. Why was I so motivated to defeat imaginary dragons but couldn't bring myself to answer important emails? Why could I stay focused for an entire evening trying to level up a fictional character, but reading one chapter of a book felt like climbing Mount Everest? That's when it hit me. What if the problem wasn't my willpower or my discipline? What if the problem was that real life just wasn't designed to be as engaging as the games I was playing? So I started asking myself a different question. Instead of wondering why I was so lazy with real tasks, I began wondering what made those games so incredibly compelling. What was it about clicking buttons on a screen that could hold my attention for hours while important life activities felt like a chore? The answer completely changed how I approach everything in my daily routine. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it increased my productivity by at least 10 times. I'm talking about finishing projects that had been sitting on my desk for months, actually following through on my fitness goals, and feeling genuinely excited about tasks that used to drain my energy. Now, before you think I'm about to tell you to gamify your life with some complicated point system or turn everything into a competition, that's not what this is about. This is about understanding the psychological triggers that make certain activities irresistible, and then strategically applying those same principles to the areas of your life that actually matter. Let me break down exactly what I discovered, because once you see these patterns, you'll start noticing them everywhere. And more importantly, you'll be able to use them to your advantage instead of being controlled by them. The first thing I realized is that every compelling game has something that most of our daily activities completely lack: clear direction. Think about it. When you boot up any game, you immediately know what you're supposed to do. Maybe you need to collect coins, defeat enemies, or reach the next checkpoint. The objective is crystal clear, and you know exactly what success looks like. But in real life, how often do we actually have that kind of clarity? Most of us are walking around with vague goals like get healthier, or be more successful, or improve my relationships. These aren't really objectives at all. They're more like wishes. There's no clear finish line, no specific action to take, and no way to know if you're making progress. So the first thing I did was transform my vague life goals into what I started calling game objectives. Instead of get healthier, I made it complete 3 20-minute workouts this week. Instead of learn a new skill, it became finish 2 chapters of this programming book by Sunday. Suddenly, I knew exactly what winning looked like. But here's where it gets really interesting. Good games don't just give you one massive objective and leave you to figure it out. They break everything down into smaller, manageable challenges that build toward the bigger goal. You don't start by fighting the final boss. You complete smaller quests first, each one making you slightly stronger and more prepared for what's coming next. I applied this exact same principle to my own goals. That programming book I mentioned, I didn't just commit to reading it, I broke it down into daily micro objectives. Read 5 pages, complete one practice exercise, write notes on the key concepts. Each of these felt achievable, and completing them gave me the same kind of satisfaction I used to get from finishing a level in a game. The second major element I discovered was something that most people completely overlook in their daily lives: progress tracking. Every good game shows you exactly how far you've come and how close you are to the next milestone. You can see your experience bar filling up, your skills improving, your character getting stronger. But when was the last time you could actually see your progress in real life? When you're trying to build a habit, lose weight, save money, or master a skill, the improvements happen so gradually that they're basically invisible day to day. You're making progress, but your brain doesn't register it because there's no visual feedback. This was a game changer for me. I started tracking everything that mattered, but not in some complicated spreadsheet. I made it visual and immediate. Every day I completed my workout, I marked it on a calendar. Every chapter I read, every dollar I saved, every small task I finished, I found a way to make that progress visible. The psychological impact was incredible. Instead of feeling like I was stuck in place, I could actually see myself moving forward. And just like in games, when I could see I was close to reaching a milestone, I found myself pushing just a little harder to get there. The third element I discovered was something that completely revolutionized how I approached motivation: meaningful rewards. Now, this might sound obvious, but stick with me because most people get this completely wrong. In games, every time you complete a challenge, you get something valuable in return. Maybe it's experience points, a new weapon, or access to a previously locked area. The reward always makes you more capable of tackling the next challenge. It's this beautiful cycle where success breeds more success. But here's where I realized I was sabotaging myself in real life. After a productive week of eating healthy and working out, I'd reward myself with an entire weekend of junk food and Netflix marathons. After saving money for 3 months, I'd celebrate by buying something expensive that I didn't really need. I was essentially punishing myself for making progress. So I completely flipped my reward system. Instead of rewards that canceled out my progress, I started giving myself rewards that amplified it. When I hit my fitness goals for the month, I bought new workout gear that made exercising more enjoyable. When I finished a challenging project, I invested in a course that would help me tackle even bigger projects. Each reward made the next challenge easier and more appealing. The fourth game element that transformed my productivity was variety. Think about your favorite games for a moment. They never make you do the exact same thing over and over again. There are different levels, new challenges, unexpected plot twists, and fresh environments to explore. Your brain stays engaged because there's always something slightly different happening. But look at how most of us structure our daily routines. Same desk, same tasks, same order, same environment, day after day. No wonder we get bored and lose motivation. Our brains are literally designed to seek novelty, but we're forcing them into monotonous patterns. I started introducing small variations into my routine that kept things interesting without disrupting my productivity. Instead of always working at my desk, I'd occasionally take my laptop to a coffee shop or work outside. I'd tackle my most important tasks at different times of the day to see when I performed best. I'd even change up my workout routine every few weeks to keep it from becoming stale. These weren't massive changes, but they had a massive impact. Suddenly, I wasn't dreading my daily tasks because there was always something slightly different or unexpected about how I approached them. The final element was perhaps the most crucial: optimal challenge levels. Every great game has this perfect balance where the challenges are difficult enough to be engaging, but not so hard that they become frustrating. As you improve, the difficulty scales with your abilities. Most of our daily activities completely miss this sweet spot. They're either so easy that we get bored, or so overwhelming that we avoid them entirely. But when I started consciously adjusting the difficulty of my tasks to match my current skill level, everything changed. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one area of your life where you're struggling with motivation or consistency. Maybe it's exercise, maybe it's learning a new skill, or maybe it's that side project you keep putting off. Apply these 5 game elements to that single activity for just 1 week. Set clear objectives, track your progress visually, reward yourself strategically, add some variety, and adjust the difficulty to match your abilities. I guarantee you'll be amazed at how different it feels. Your brain will start craving that activity the same way it craves your favorite games. And once you experience that shift, you'll never want to go back to the old way of doing things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll dive even deeper into optimizing your mental performance. Click the like button and subscribe to the channel for more.